Okay, we're recording here as well too. Probably don't have to charge that. Put that in the middle so we catch it all. All right, so pretty much we're just going to just have a general conversation. We're going to ask you about your life, starting from the beginning.
Calgary centric.
Yeah, we're going to ask you about what it's like growing up here, I guess what led you from birth to coming into the studio today. And it'll probably be a windy path. Some things might be more challenging than others, but then if we hit a lull, we'll just keep going. So we're going to shoot for probably around the hour mark.
Okay.
So that will bring us to around like 3:45-ish. All right. Okay. And okay, we're recording there.
We're live.
We're live.
So, Marco, how's it going? How's the day been? How's the summer been?
Summer's been wet. The day's great today, and summer's moving fast.
Yeah, it has seemed to go by quite fast. I can't believe we're almost in September now. So, Marco, we're all here today at the Calgary Central Library. Raiden, thank you for finding this space. Great find.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like Raiden said, we want to ask you some questions about what it was like, growing up in Calgary and living here full time, and how that's been and what it's been like.
Yeah, and then maybe for the listener who doesn't know you, maybe if you could state who you are, and maybe tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Marco DeDominicis, Raiden's father. I was born in Calgary, 1966. Puts me at 59. Went to... did my schooling in Calgary, St. Paul's, St. Joseph's, St. Francis. Went to Mount Royal, and then I finished my degree at Carleton University. Besides a couple of years working in Toronto and surrounding on a sidewalk crew, my full-time place of residence and has been the city of Calgary. So,
Nice.
The bulk of my working life was mainly, I grew up in the concrete formwork business, cast in place, commercial, residential, and dabbled in real estate and some real estate development. And my degree is in criminology, which, with the kind of people I worked with, it was a good career. It was a good fit for the career.
How did I didn't know that? How did you land on criminology?
I went to university for a year in geology. Absolutely hated it. Then I bowed out of post-secondary, thinking it wasn't for me. Was gonna start my own construction business after. Well, I spent a couple of years working concrete, learned the formwork business or residential formwork cribbing, and then I think I was 21, and on Boxing Day I broke my leg pretty badly playing hockey, and then I thought,
What year would have that been? Your 20? You said you were 21?
yeah, so it would probably been in 87. I think it was 87 or 80. No, it was 87. It was 87 because I remember being hobbling around during the Olympics. So 87, I break my leg, and my construction was, as a concrete guy, you need your mobility. So I wasn't sure how impactful that will be, and that plus my mom picked me up from the airport because I was on a sidewalk crew in Ontario, and they'd fly us home on the weekends or long weekends, and I piled off the plane with 12 stammering drunk guys, and my mom, who was thinking there was more in life for me than a social network, reminded me of, if this is a social network I want to grow up in. But that being said, I ended up working with my father a lot, which was great, and we were in the construction business, and lots of good people in the construction business.
Yes.
So, but anyways, that was the decision to go back to school.
Okay.
And I had two choices. It was engineering or criminology, and I thought criminology would be easier. And I thought maybe go into law after.
Yeah.
So
That
then,
is that.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. That is criminology. That must be pretty interesting.
Oh,
and what you're able to learn, and kind of how the human psyche works on a nefarious level as well.
well, lots of sociology and anthropology courses, and it's in the criminology, the law courses. The program at Mount Royal was a college when I went, so it was a 2-year college program that transferred to a degree program, and a lot of the people I graduated 2-year diploma with at Mount Royal went on to Calgary Police Services.
Did that ever cross your mind, being a cop?
No, I wasn't interested because I was older now.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about kids, and
How old would you have been?
when I graduated university, I was 27 the year we got married. So I graduated in April and married in.
And who is this that
May.
you got married to?
That'd be your mother.
Oh, okay. And when did you meet? You met her during your university?
Yeah, I met her when I was Stampede summer of 1991. We met in 91, married in 93.
Okay.
So I was 25 when we met.
Okay. Continue. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah, and how and what was your university experience like in Calgary, being from here as well? Because I know my dad wanted me to go away to experience the quote unquote university lifestyle, but then he ended up landing on going to Mount Royal just because what he heard about the school and the community and stuff like that. But what was your experience like going to school here in Calgary?
It was good. I'd already spent two seasons working with a sidewalk crew in Toronto, and your parents want their kids to go away as a way to say there's it's a grow up moment.
Yeah.
So I think I had my grow up moment being on the road with those guys. So I liked the part where I was living at home and saving money.
Yeah.
When I was a little bit older, and I had, it was very independent. So had that. And Calgary at that time was, I'm going to guess, 700,000, 800,000 people, maybe somewhere around there. So we didn't have, I don't think there was as many, and it's still college, maybe the University of Calgary was a little different. There was a lot of, I would say 80% of the people in my program that, we share a lot of the same courses. So, and the criminology department would, there is shared activities and socials and stuff like that. And I would say probably 75-80% were born and raised Calgarians. And then Carleton was, that was a lot of people from a lot of different places, but probably 25% people from Ottawa. And so now it's getting to be a long time ago, so my memory's a little foggy.
Where is Carleton University?
It's in Ottawa.
Okay, it's in Ottawa.
Yeah. And I had a choice either there. At that time, you could transfer to Simon Fraser, Carleton, or Long Beach, I think, were the criminology places. And
Long Beach, like California?
Yeah. And I believe Eric might know this. I think that's where Steve Nash played college basketball. and the University of Ottawa as well. So there's some Mount Royal. Some of my Mount Royal guys went to the University of Ottawa.
Okay.
So that was kind of fun.
That is cool.
And then my aunt and uncle lived within walking distance.
They're actually visiting this weekend.
Oh, cool.
They're here right now. Yeah.
So that really helped. So I could live with them.
Nice. And then, what was kind of your introduction to the work environment, kind of the public arena of working as a young adult in Calgary?
Well, when I came back, I got a job right away with Alberta Health Services, or Alberta's Family and Social Services. I know they go different names. And my job was a entry-level...
Is that okay there, or do you want me to
Yeah,
move it?
this is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm moving it back and forth.
Entry-level
Okay.
investigating welfare fraud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And basically you're working for free, but there seemed to be some growth opportunity. And there was a lot of...
Is it commission-based? It's like the
No,
more
I would-
frauds you catch, the more you get paid.
I always thought that there was a fallback on how to scam the system. There was a lot of... So that you did that, but, you know, the next level was filled by ex-RCMP and ex-City Police. And it was the guys that, you know, there's a few grads from our program that, you know, either Mount Royal diploma grads or university grads, that early on we were frustrated that, you know, if there was a posting, it seemed to go to, and I was only there, I don't even know if I lasted a year. I seemed to go to their retired, you know, at that time you're pensioned off at 45 to 50 years old. A lot of the guys joined the force that I worked with at 18 years old, 19 years old, and they were double dipping at 50 going into, you know, so that was a little frustrating. And then Ralph Klein was, at that time, Ralph Klein was a premier, and he cut everybody's wage 5%, which I thought was actually a smart thing.
Yeah.
Because the level of bureaucracy, working for the government is, even at that time, it was challenging in terms of, you know, they'd turn our computers off at 4:30. I'd have to hang out at work, look for stuff to do, because Patty was in the private sector, and I'd pick her up from work an hour, you know, when she was done. So it just seemed like you weren't motivated to work that hard. So
That's interesting. It's pretty crazy where politics in the city have gone to as well. I mean, generally I'm not, you know, hypercritical of what has been going on, mainly from like a provincial level. But yeah, I don't know. I'm no expert by any means, but it is interesting to look into and kind of hear what they're doing on a municipal level as well as provincial. Like our
It's a surprise. I haven't told
Oh,
Marco
it's a
who we
surprise.
interviewed yesterday.
oh
So-
okay. I'll keep the
Keep
lid,
it a surprise. Keep it a
keep
surprise.
the lid shut on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any thoughts, Raiden?
I wanted to circle back to not the gravel crew. That's I'm talking about myself. The sidewalk crew. So you graduated high school. You went to university for
1 year,
1 year, and then you at Mount Royal
University of Calgary.
at University of Calgary, and then did you finish that year or did you
Finished that year.
finish that year? And then how did you end up in Toronto? How did you end up working for this sidewalk crew?
Well, the sidewalk company is Marmot Construction, and you see them now. They do a lot more than curb and gutter and city sidewalks, but they opened up for a couple of years. And a friend of mine, his father-in-law, was either a superintendent or a project coordinator for them. Actually, his future father-in-law was a brother of one of the owners. And so there's an opportunity out there, and by that time I'd already, your nonnu grandfather had forgiven me for quitting university, and I had went to work for a year as a cribber, so laboring and learning how to crib basements. And then after about a year, I went back to work with my dad, but then there was Ontario was booming and Calgary was still in the doldrums after the NEP, and I could make $5 or $6 more an hour out there, and I just thought it was a good time to get out of the house and go do some stuff.
And so you were kind of a medium, or you were kind of a skilled laborer at that point already.
Yes. When you start working for my summers were, my summers starting at 13 were working for your grandfather, and
But what were you guys doing?
he was a concrete finisher. So big, 13 to 17, my summers were Calgary Herald building, Scotia Centre, Petrocan building, City Hall. Start work at 2 in the afternoon, come home at 2
Is
in
City
the morning.
Hall just here? The glass one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that finished, I think that building finished, I probably finished and occupied in 85 or 86. That was, because I remember going back and doing some work on that when everything was crashing. So, coming into downtown Calgary, driving over the Center Street Bridge, I think it was probably 1979, 1980, counted 22 tower cranes. And then you didn't see a tower crane in 1984, they're all gone, and you didn't see a tower crane back up in downtown probably until mid to late 1990s. It's very rare to see.
And so that period that you were talking about, that was when all of these office buildings were built. Is that correct, or was that before?
That was a big build of office buildings.
Was Bankers Hall part of that era, or?
No, I think Bankers Hall was later. Bankers Hall might have been. I don't exactly remember. I just remember them pouring the mud slabs. Sorry, the big base slabs when they did Bankers Hall, and I'm gonna think that could have been. Maybe that was late 90s, mid to late 90s. I think that was.
Okay. So pretty much from 13 to 17, you were working with non-new, just finishing, or?
Well, yeah. So what he did is there was a company. He worked for Crisanti Brothers. Did you meet Butch Crisanti at the birthday party on Saturday? Am I allowed to go this far off topic?
Yep.
I'm sure I said hello, but I didn't talk to him.
So Crisanti Brothers, two brothers, hometown close to, they were Tadamo as well. And
this is in Italy you're talking about?
And they had a company, Crisanti
This is
Brothers.
where your father's from?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just filling in the listeners on the backstory
So,
here. Yeah.
So anyways, they had a company that would pump, place, and finish concrete. And your non-new, he was probably, let me think. This is early 70s, so he would have been
Do we got to pause?
early 20s.
Okay.
No, I just checked. No, sorry, continue.
Okay.
Right. So he was early 20s, and he went to work for Crisanti Brothers as a concrete finisher. He had some experience because he worked for, I think he worked on a sidewalk crew, and then he went to work with Crisanti Brothers. Different type of finishing, soft finishing versus hard finishing. Sidewalks are different than slabs.
For the layman, does that make a difference in how you see it? A soft finish versus a hard finish?
How you see it and how you finish it, and when you
So like when Eric and I are walking down the street and we are walking across
Rolling.
when we're rolling across a sidewalk, how can we tell if it's hard finished or soft finished?
Well, most sidewalks are soft finished. That means you don't have to wait for the concrete to set up to put a machine on top of it or to put a man on top of it to get on his hands and knees and finish the concrete. So it's a longer wait and setup time before you're finishing like slabs for the high rises, the warehouses versus outside.
So when are soft finishes most often applied versus like where would you see the two?
Okay, so your garage at home, if you have a attached garage, that's hard finish.
Okay.
Okay, that's a smoother finish.
Yep.
And then your driveway is a softer finish. So when you place it, they let it set up a little bit. They trowel it, hand trowel it, and then they broom it, put deep cuts in. And if you walk on that, when the finisher is done, you make big footprints. And
Yeah.
versus if you walked into the garage after a finisher is done, you might scuff it up a little bit, but you're not going to sink.
Okay.
Yeah. Or for you,
That's interesting.
you'd sink more into the soft finish.
Yeah, it's like
and leave
Maybe some.
you'd leave heavier tire tracks.
Yeah.
Than on the hard finish.
To circle back just a tiny bit, I used shout out to ChatGPT. Bankers Hall timeline. The Bankers Hall East was built in 1989, and then Bankers Hall West was completed in 2000.
Oh,
so
big
there's
gap.
an 11-year gap between
Yeah.
when East and West were built. For quick little information.
So
for
was it
viewers.
completed in '89?
Yeah, so Bankers Hall East was completed in 89, and then Bankers Hall West was completed in 2000.
Just
11
wondering
years.
if they must have started that before the NEP, in terms of a go or no go. But I think Brookfield probably was the owner from the beginning. Canada's biggest company.
Oh, wow.
We'll bring you on a different time to talk
Okay,
about.
sorry.
We do want to get into that. Maybe we
Yeah.
will circle back to that. Okay, so you worked for your grandfather. Going back to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you had an opportunity there to go to Toronto. Can you tell us what that was like? So you would have been how old? 20? 21, 22? Oh, no, it was before 21 because 21 is when you broke your leg.
Yeah, so this would have been
You're 19, 20-ish? Not
21. I broke my leg. 21. No, I broke my leg between season 1 and season 2 out there. So 22, I would have. I think it was 22, 23. I think I was 23 for my last season out there.
Okay, and so what was living like? What was? Who were you living with in Toronto at the time, and what was living in Toronto by yourself?
Toronto.
Like,
We were in
when you were,
we were in
young.
motels and hotels and inns.
Okay,
Okay, so and we bunked 2 guys to a room. They gave us chicken money, which is your per diem day money,
okay,
and you were. I think we had we were about a 15-man crew. And there was concrete finishers, form setters, line setters, and machine operators like Imago, the curb machines. And then Toronto, we never worked in Metro Toronto. We were Barrie, Newmarket, Oshawa, Whitby, kind of the surrounding areas. Because Toronto had a resurgence, so they were booming. So you had this huge growth and everybody going out to
the suburbs.
the burbs. It was very. The big difference there was, you're in a. You guys would know it. Think of going into Longview right now, and then have you been to Longview?
Like south of Calgary,
Yeah.
Longview. Yep.
So then you're in a place like Longview. You're an hour and a half, or an hour to an hour and a half from downtown Toronto, and they're building a brand new ticky-tack subdivision. Then I'm like, where are these people going to work? And then there's a GO train. So that was, that was foreign to someone who grew up in Calgary. That you commute to work.
Okay. And so, what were the age range of these guys that you were working with? And you were living with the guys that you were working with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple of the supervisors.
So you didn't really have a home base there.
No
it
home
was
base.
Motel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mobile home base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about these guys that you were working with. What do you remember about them? What was... I feel like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 is a very impressionable age. So how did these people impact you?
I went back to school.
Good answer.
No, really good guys. I mean, there's, everybody's a product of circumstance, and there is the heavy drinkers. There was the Chilean group who were awesome, good guys to hang with, and I got along with everyone. A couple of Portuguese guys. There was, we were all. It was a good group. There's a couple of guys that I really didn't get along with, but you just had to be careful of who you were with and what times. You didn't want to be with the drinkers in social situations because that led to either embarrassment, because you're talking about, for me at that time, old guys that were alcoholics that were in their early 30s, and it wasn't that they were looking for trouble, it was just they couldn't control themselves. Then you had the Chilean guys that were good guys, but if you went into a department store with them, you had the chance of being hauled off with the police when they were shoplifting. So you had different things. But Toronto was awesome because, we had some relatives there, and I found, and there was baseball games and a lot of stuff we didn't have here. So, and I kind of went my own way. Then one of my favorite stories was, you'd always go out and you'd eat, and part of, you'd go to Kelsey's, or you remember the Kelsey's, and you'd go to these different restaurants, and probably 2 weeks in, I bought a barbecue, and the first night I barbecue by myself, watch a baseball game or go tour the area. I think I was one of the only guys with a driver's license, and and then within a week, everybody wanted to be a partner and pay me $20 or $25 so they could share in the barbecue. And so most nights after that, we'd stop at the beer store, which I think I told you was amazing to me. Is it the LBCO?
LCBO in the beer store out there, yeah.
That they were so progressive compared to Calgary or Alberta, because we had the ALCB. So the idea of going in and buying 2 cold beers after work, one for the drive home and one for when I was barbecuing, was awesome. And I think nothing, like when Raiden was in university and we went to Kingston, I'm like, they have done, it's closed on Sundays, nothing has progressed out there where it seems like our world of our liquor, the deregulated, well, we're still regulated, but just seems that we're much more advanced than they are now.
That's interesting. And then as a follow-up, what was kind of, so when did you come back to Calgary, and was there I don't want to say formative. Was it kind of like a reset when you came back to Calgary?
Oh yeah, I came back as a mature student, so I think it was the end of 88 or maybe the end of 80 or 88 or I think it was 89. I think it was September 89 I went back to school. And then 2 years of Mount Royal and then out to Ottawa. Mm-hmm. And now, a couple of my friends has just said, you work hard, you go to work, you know how to earn money, just treat school like work. And I was a much stronger student, and I really enjoyed it. And I was taking courses, I took some courses that I really enjoyed, and it was took it seriously, and yeah.
And that was Ottawa.
That was Mount Royal. That's when I went back to Mount Royal.
And that was criminology.
That was criminology.
Okay.
And then Ottawa was the same. So.
And then when, as a bit of a segue, what was it like raising this guy?
Oh, we're doing a big jump ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raiden was, let's see, where do you want me to start? At the beginning?
At the beginning. Well, how much is there between?
I feel like we should save this for a little bit into. I feel like we should lead up to it because that will be 5 years from what we're around 5 years from where we're talking about right now. So we're leading into it. So we're laying the groundwork for that answer.
Okay.
So viewers, stay tuned for that one. That was just a little teaser. Little teaser.
Okay, so
So
Carleton.
Yeah, and then after Carleton,
I'd met your mom before I went.
okay.
Before the year before.
And how did you meet her?
We were both overserved at a Stampede beer garden.
And overserved. Okay.
Feeling the vibes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Country Thunder.
The Crossroads Beer Gardens.
Where was that?
Quite famous. It's a Radisson Hotel on 16th Avenue.
Does that still exist?
Oh, the Radisson is there.
Yeah.
16, and they used to have live music and it was a beer garden. And the night we were there, it rained so bad that they had moved it downstairs into a banquet hall. And then
Where's the Radisson? Where on 16th Ave is it?
16th?
Do you know where it?
I know the name.
So 16th, and you've got 19th. So about 22nd, 23rd Street, northeast.
Hmm.
You know where the Italian church is? You know the Deerfoot baseball diamonds?
Yep.
If you go up the hill, past that first set of lights, between there and Barlow, on your left-hand side.
Oh, okay. So it's more north.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you met her. You were in Carleton. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, and then we met there. Then I went back. Then I finished my I think I had. Did I do a year at Mount Royal? I might have done a year at Mount Royal and then went to Carleton. Well, we met in 91. And I graduated Carleton in 93. So.
Okay. And then so after graduation.
After graduation, started working with, a month after we were married, worked with...
Oh, you got married right after graduation.
Yeah.
That was in
93.
93, and then 3 years. Okay, yeah.
So married in 90, and then worked for the government. I don't even, like I said, it was pretty close to a year, but during the first year I did 3 or 4 concrete jobs at night. And I made more money doing those than I did.
Well, while you were working for the government. Okay.
Yeah. And I'd actually use some of the guys at work to come and help. And we moved your other grandfather's office. So anything that we could, look at to
make money.
Because government work doesn't pay well. And so after about a year, I decided that if you're going to raise a family and we wanted kids, that it would be hard to, even if I got the promotion or got that next spot that I wanted, and they went to a newly retired RCMP guy who was a friend of the manager.
Yeah.
Then the decision was, even if I got that job, that's not going to afford the lifestyle that your mother had become accustomed to. That was.
What does that mean?
That was your grandfather when we got married. When we were engaged, he said, or I don't know when he said it, but at one point he said, "Now it's up to you to, take over and basically give your mother the lifestyle she'd become accustomed to."
Okay.
So
that's kind of funny.
Maintain a certain comfort level.
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I gotta feel that's kind of like a lot of pressure, though.
Not really.
Okay.
He got beat up by the NEP too.
Okay.
This is related, but somewhat adjacent. What was the concrete industry like at that time compared to like what it's like now? Because I'm not too familiar.
No technology improvements, or
Yeah.
very little. Yeah, it's really kind of, it's disappointing that, the way a lot of the practices in terms of what we did, besides some advancements, and, my dad was one of the first guys to own a triple trowel in concrete finishing.
What's that?
It's a ride-on. It was a ride-on power trowel.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
those. Okay.
Okay.
Those guys
And
are
I've never seen. There might be some quads
Imagine
out there.
your setup with like big fans on the bottom of it, and then you just would be driving over concrete as it's curing.
As it's like settling.
Yeah, to keep it
Okay.
to get it extra flat.
Huh.
It's pretty cool, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been a ton of change in it. The price has gone up significantly.
Okay. Yeah, because that's because I was curious. Like there must be some sort of like technological steps forward, but that's interesting.
Well, there's catastrophic failures more today, I think, than in the spalling of concrete and the breakdown of concrete than there was, there was maybe 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that could be, no one really knows because, Raiden in his chemical engineering can tell you, you're basically performing an experiment in the back of a concrete truck. You're mixing all your ingredients, not in a laboratory environment, but you're mixing your ingredients and creating a chemical reaction in the back of a concrete truck. And now is it because we have different chemicals on the roads for snow, and like we have a lot more salt than we did 25 years ago in our snow maintenance? Is it that we're recycling fly ash, or is it there's a lot of, but anyways, fly ash is an additive that you add to concrete.
Ask, yeah.
And whoever named fly ash, I think, is the best name. And so when you burn coal, there's ash that goes up and that comes out of the stack, and when that ash comes down, they catch it and they screen it, and that's a carbon-based additive for most concrete now.
Okay, that's okay. I didn't know that. So where are we
In the story.
In the timeline.
In the timeline, you had just married mom. You were working for.
I left
you
the
were
government.
working for the government. Yeah, you just left, but you were doing side jobs of doing concrete basements or pretty much anything to make money on the side, because doing construction and concrete was paid much better than the government work, and the government work wasn't looking very promising.
And then after that, I quit with the government and asked your grandfather for a full-time job.
Your dad.
My dad.
Okay. And what did that look like at that time?
That looked like
And what year that would have been? 93 or 94?
95.
95. Okay.
That looked like a small commercial formwork business that had guys who could finish concrete. So there was
So how many people would have that been at the time?
probably 10 guys.
Okay. On a crew, like as a crew or as the whole business?
Yeah, it would have probably been. No, that would have been the whole business. I'm trying to. So, because I also, we probably had 10, 15 guys. It depends on what was happening. We do small commercial jobs, a lot of service stations, started to get into the warehousing. So grade beams, and had different CP rail. We had contracts there. Just we did a little bit of residential, more complicated residential stuff, because we had a couple of journeyman carpenters working for us, or at that time, working with me. I was working for your grandfather, so So I was pretty much a carpenter's laborer and a concrete finisher.
Okay.
And we were probably doing 80% form work.
Okay.
So I was catching up on the labor aspect of
Residential or commercial?
Commercial.
Commercial form work at the time. Okay, so what would have
And
been...
then-
Okay, so... sorry, I cut you off.
And then I got into estimating and started doing the books and doing...
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, like, was that... Okay, so you asked him for a job, you started... Because I guess at what... were you managing people right as you started, or were you? It was more just a labor or lead hand kind of situation.
No, I wasn't even a lead hand. It was, I moved more into estimating than into the field.
Okay.
Okay, so if there was form work, labor form work to do, strip forms, to help, there's a lot of stuff now that I'd be more, in today's world, be second, third year apprentice, and then when there was concrete to pour or finish, I was always part of that side of it.
Okay.
And then moving into the office and estimating, and then a little bit of business development.
And when did that take place? Was that all in the first year? Or
The first couple of years. Because I think in 97 is when I started a residential formwork business while working with him. And then that was my own business. And so I'm working with him, start my own business. And we call it, so it was Comfort Contracting was his company. And we had Comfort Formworks and that was geared solely towards single family housing. So, and I had a partner early, and that didn't last with the partner, so I kept the business, bought back out the partner what he put in, and then we grew that business. And then in 2001...
Hold up.
Okay.
So that's 97 that you start kind of... It's kind of like...
you were born in 96.
I know, so we're jumping ahead here. Okay. So you start working with Non-New in 95.
Yes.
And then that kind of more and more responsibility as you go along there, and kind of branching out into really kind of...
I kind of knew my
run the
career
whole-
path was in the construction world. That's where I thought it was. In 95.
Okay, and so when did I come into this picture?
96.
Okay, and take us through that. What was that process like, having a kid? Was it an intentional thing? Was it a planned thing? Was it like, oh, this is just happening?
No, we wanted children.
Okay.
And so we wanted kids. And
what does that conversation look like so you would have been... We're pretty much 30 years apart, exactly. So you would have been 30, or you would have been 29,
yes.
Pretty much my age, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what does that conversation look like with mom, where it's just like, okay, like, should we have a kid? Like, what are some of the things that are going through your head? Okay, you have a career, things are looking relatively stable, or like, what goes through your mind when you're like, okay, let's try and have a kid now?
Well, I would speak for 80%. Well, I won't say it. Like, before we even, I would say early into our relationship, we knew we wanted family. So, I mean, as soon as you're serious with someone, it's like, that's a conversation you have. So, and I think really it was when she was ready, it was like, I'm pretty sure it was when your mom was ready, I was ready.
Okay.
What would you rate Raiden on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being like an angel baby, best baby of all time, versus 1, demon child who screams throughout the night.
No, we were lucky. We had a lot of friends having kids at the same time, and we didn't have colicky kids.
Yeah.
We didn't have. Raiden had his issues. I mean, first it was he was born with severe club feet, so we had, he was in casts probably a week after we brought him home, and then he had a couple of operations, but he was very good eat. Like he was a very big, healthy boy.
Good.
Except for these very crooked feet.
Yeah.
Mm. What was it like seeing my fucked up feet coming out of mom?
Well, the nurses actually the interesting story. The nurses were like trying to calm me down, and I wasn't even upset. Like there was, you were breathing. You were close to 9 pounds. You were cute. If you had bad feet, you have bad feet. It wasn't like there was a lot worse things that we were worried about
Than club feet.
So,
Okay. So what was that first year like? So where were you living at the time?
Bankview.
What does that mean? What is
2516 14 A Street.
Well, I don't know if we should. Okay, I guess it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone lives there.
Yeah.
Someone lives there. Future home of the Daisy.
Yeah.
So it's how do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
So
the
actually,
house.
this would be an interesting thing to pass and walk down.
How we
So
ended-
yeah, how did you end up there?
Well,
So
you're-
when you moved back, did you move in with Nonu and Nonna? Were you living with them or?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I moved back, I was living with Nonu and Nonna. I moved
For the
when
viewer out there, that's my grandma and grandpa, or Marco's mom and dad.
Well, I lived with them for the first couple of months after university, and then moved into Bankview with your mom when we got married in '93.
Okay.
So we lived in '93. We moved into Bankview, and that was at that time what I knew about it was Patty's grandmother's house. And when Patty's grandmother passed away, her and siblings and cousins, they all owned a little piece of the house, but we paid rent to that group.
Okay.
And so we lived there, and that was the house that her grandparents raised Bob, Patty's dad, and his 3 siblings
In.
in.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure who lived in it before us. Your mom was living there with Kathleen Spellacy, but I think it was a family member that might have lived in it before her. Because your great grandmother passed away, I believe, in '89. I never met her.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we lived in Bankview.
What was Bankview like at that time?
Rough.
So, Eric, you told me the story of Sirius the Wolf getting loose and ended up near the 14th Street Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's the house like right behind it.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you know where that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me more.
So, just as a side, Patty's grandmother
Uh-huh.
didn't call it Bankview; she called it Mount Royal West.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
To get the clout from Mount Royal. Yeah. So continue. Yeah.
Bankview was fine. It was close. It was handy, but it was a little bit rougher of a neighborhood. We got broken into. And robbed in shortly after our wedding, so probably before you. Yeah, probably 94, end of 93, 94. So it was a sketchy neighborhood. But I liked it.
What's it like nowadays?
It's a sketchy neighborhood. No.
It's nice, I think. Yeah. Busy. There's like a lot of infills going in. Like it's nice location, easy to downtown. I like that Starbucks there. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless there's a wolf running around.
Unless there's a wolf running around, keep
That's
your
kind
eye
of cool,
out.
though.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys moved in there. I popped out with my interesting feet. Got a couple surgeries, and so What was that like working for the first year with a newborn?
It wasn't bad. Your mom was, it was, you know, it's cool. You think you're, you know, how did we ever, you know, how life was much easier without one. But then, and you think you're busy, and then when you have the next one, you realize, well, one was really easy.
Mm.
We didn't have the third one until way later, but, you know, we'd always look at the people with 3 kids, bang, bang, bang. Like, I don't know, what are your separation between?
I
You guys are pretty
I was
close.
born in 96. John was born December 97. And then our youngest sibling, Dee, was born in 99.
Yeah, so your mom had 3 under 5.
Yeah.
And, you know, that would have been,
Yeah, it was a lot.
yeah. So, yeah, close. So, Malcolm's a month older than John. So
Yeah.
Malcolm would have
Okay,
been
yeah.
born November
97.
97.
Okay. And
That goes back to your earlier question.
yeah. And then what's the separation between Q and Malcolm? How many years is that?
7 years, 8 years for me and Q.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's-
And growing up, for you, what was it like having a brother who was quite a bit younger?
For me, it was,
Because you had Malcolm, who was what, a year younger.
yeah.
And then Q's 8 years younger.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I felt like responsible or like in
Certain
like
areas
like
of
a
responsibility.
yeah, or like had to take on like a bit of a parental role, kind of keeping an eye out for him, which was funny because I laugh about that now because I definitely would model that like growing up. But then when Malcolm and I were growing up, I was a dick to Malcolm. Like I would bully him like a lot. And then I always think it's like an interesting case study into, you know, I'm sure you could psychoanalyze it, but a case study into the cycle of abuse because I would beat the shit out of Malcolm. Well, not beat the shit out of him, but I would be a dick to him. We had fun times as well too.
Yeah.
But I'd bully him. And then when we got older, Malcolm would kind of be a dick to Quentin quite a bit. And then I'd always look at him, I'm just like, what's the matter with you? He's so much younger than you. Like, lay off on him. You know, now it's kind of...
That's interesting. I had a more or less similar experience with John and Dee.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely wail on John, and
Yeah.
then he would take it on Dee when we were going, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, relax. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay. I actually caused this.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But, I don't know. It was cool. I guess it was like I don't know. I guess you don't really know anything else, right? So it just always was like that.
Yeah. Back to
Yes.
the timeline.
Okay, the timeline. So I pop out. It's busy with me. So
And then Malcolm in 97.
and Malcolm in 97. Yeah.
And
then
we moved.
okay, question for you.
Just before Raiden's first birthday.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so because I feel like for me, like I get quite lost in the future, right? Like I like think about my life. I'm like, okay, this is how my life could be. And I look at all these options. For you, while you were doing all of this, did that ever kind of cross your mind where it's like, oh, this is eventually like at 29 or like 30, just as you're about to have a kid or just as you're getting married, did you think in your mind, okay, it's like, okay, this is my dream, this is my goal, this is what I want to be or do, or this is what I want to work for? Or it's like mostly like, okay, this is the opportunity presented in front of me, I'm going to do this.
Second one.
The second one, okay, more so like, okay, survival, boom, this is okay. Okay, so I come along, and then what was the story with Malcolm like? And what are you doing for work at this time? And I think
Well,
Same.
Also, Marco said that you guys moved
Yeah. So
before your first birthday? Raiden's?
before
Yeah,
Raiden's
okay.
first birthday, and we had bought. I'm pretty sure. Well, anyway, we'd bought a rental property, we bought a rental property, I think in 96. I think it was the same year you were born. We bought or maybe, no, it was the year before, because, well, actually, we'd bought a rental property probably in 95. And then
Where was that?
that would have been on 37th Street, a couple of blocks
Okay.
north of the school with the pickleball courts.
Is that
School with the pickleball.
EA Cross, yes. So right on 37th.
Oh, okay.
And then we bought another one because before you were born, your mother had a miscarriage. And that the basement in the house we were living in flooded, so we moved into this rental property we had just bought. And that was the one on 31st Avenue
Okay.
that we thought we won the lottery when we sold it for $160,000 or $170,000 with the one next door, 50-foot lots. Yeah. If you guys want to, yeah. So those were, so we were working for my dad. Started a little company called Octagon Properties with, well, it was supposed to be 8 guys, hence the Octagon. We had a 9th person join just before so we ended up with 9 people owning Octagon Properties.
What would a 9-sided hectagon?
No, Nonagon?
Nonagon. Yeah.
Nonagon. Okay.
I think somebody's,
didn't ring.
we stuck with Octagon.
Yeah, good call.
And then, so that was, it was kind of fix it up and flip it. If it could fix it up or bring renters in, if it paid for itself. And then we were handy guys. Dave Gorsland was the electrician. Dave Hall, who was a petroleum engineer, didn't mind getting his hands dirty. And we would, I think Trevor Haynes, and Anthony, Raiden's ex-uncle, would kind of manage the accounts. Yeah.
And so was
a
it
fun
just
little venture?
Was it just shared ownership, or did it kind of like pay? Did it actually pay? Did you like have anyone hired?
No, it was just it lasted for about 4 years, and we ended up. Trevor had one of the guys was transferred to the States, and he needed to sell, and at that point, myself and Patty bought out all the shareholders. They made a nice return on their original investment, and we ended up with some properties, and we sold them off right away to pay for a renovation on our house in Springbank. Not all of them, a few of the houses.
And okay, so where did that idea come from? So obviously you had started buying rental properties, kind of just as just as I was born, just as Malcolm was born there, we moved into it. And where did the idea come from to get a group of people together to start doing that?
Well, I don't remember it actually. I mean, Trevor was a sharp guy. Could have been Trevor's idea. It could have been So there was Greg and Cheryl Schindel were friends of ours, and Greg, I think he had got his real estate license, and they sold us the first rental property, and then, when we started Octagon, it was, we put in $3,000 each, and $250 a month was our commitment. But at that time, in Alberta, I think it was one of the only provinces that you could assume mortgages without qualifying. So we had 2 ways to do it. We could assume mortgages, or we could, technically, I maybe shouldn't say this, but you could get 5%, for 5% down for a first-time home buyer, you could qualify for a mortgage.
Okay.
And so if a house was $100,000, for $5,000 you'd qualify, and you'd end up with, after fees, you'd end up with a $97,000 mortgage. And then you'd hold it for a bit in your name, one of the Octagon people, and then the Octagon Properties would assume that mortgage and So Octagon would put up the cash. I would buy the house. I had a job, qualified, and then Octagon Properties would assume it, and then that's on that's Octagon Properties ownership. And I don't know why. We were talking about this, and the Alberta. It started. These were dollar down deals in 1984 when the NEP crashed and interest rates were 18% or 19%, and people were walking away from their house for $1 or nothing. I mean, there's tons of foreclosures and
service it. Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was, and interest rates were around 10%, 9 or 10%. When we started, and I remember one of the houses when we bought a house, I think it was 7% or 6.75%. We thought that was a great deal. So.
Okay. So what year was that you started Octagon there? Was that 90?
I think it was 96. I'm pretty sure it was 95 or 96 we would have started Octagon.
Okay. And then at the same time, so that was kind of you guys would do that kind of evenings, weekends?
Evening, weekends.
And then you were kind of full-time at Comfort?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said that's when you kind of started your residential business, was 97 or?
Yeah, 97.
Okay. And then kind of take us through that path a little bit, the next couple of years of that path.
Well, a lot of that was we would do a project, and when you're doing the books and you do a project, so you go out and you do a 6 or an 8 week job, and then there's a gap of a week maybe before you start the next job. So it was you have these little ebbs and flows, and you have to keep your guys working, otherwise you'd lose them. So I remember in the cribbing world when I was 18 that every day there was a house to do. So I figured we could use our guys, the commercial guys, when the commercial in between those gaps. So we weren't supporting them; they were supporting themselves through the starts and stops of the commercial jobs.
Okay.
And it morphed into it was two distinct businesses, but later on a lot of our commercial all our commercial former guys worked on the residential side, and a lot of our residential guys morphed into the commercial side because we merged the two companies, I think, in 2000 or 2001.
Okay. So that kind of work brought you all the way up to 2001, and then you had Octagon Properties.
Octagon Properties is going over here that we bought out. So that was your mom, myself bought out Octagon, and so in 2001 in Confort, we bought it out. Myself and Trevor bought out in 2001 or 2000. I think it was 2000 or 2001.
Okay. So if I remember, I would have been around 4 years old around that time, and I think that was when Mom took me on a trail ride on Mac. We had Mac and Chance, 2 horses, growing up, and I got bucked off, and I never looked at a horse the same way again.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you remember? What's the story behind that?
There was, I think, 3 or 4 kids on the back of this horse, and my mom was taking us, and she had like a rope on it, and then she had gone to check something near a fence, and I think she let go of the rope, and then the horse stepped on the rope, and it got spooked, so it like kind of bucked a little bit, and all of us fell off, and no one was hurt, but I started to develop a hatred or maybe a resentment towards horses.
I have a similar experience.
Oh, you got bucked off as well too?
Almost at Camp Chief Hector.
Okay.
They put me on a bad horse. They were like, "This horse is like a little jumpy," and I was like, "Then why am I going on it?" and then it got startled by something and ran like a good 20 feet. And I was just holding on for dear life.
How old would have that been?
Camp Chief Hector, probably I must have been 10 or 11 maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I've been bucked off a couple times. The next time I got bucked off was our neighbors had like an exchange student from Quebec, and then I was like because we had these 2 horses, and I would kind of just Malcolm took to it more than me, and then my mom was a big horse person, so she always liked that. so I never really took to that too much. But so I'd always be around them though. So I'd be like, and then when this girl was there, I was like, oh yeah, like I can ride a horse. Horses are easy.
Yeah.
And so my neighbor was like getting a horse ready with with this exchange student there, and I was like, oh, I can do this. And so I just like hopped up on the horse, and then it wasn't it didn't have like a bit in or like its reins ready, and so it was like it got spooked, and then it like ran around and it bucked me off. And I was like, okay, I deserve that one. The other one, though, I was like, I didn't deserve that. That one, I was like, I deserve that.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Timeline.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, so you buy these businesses. Okay, so it seems like there's... So where would you credit your entrepreneurialism from? Because it sounds like, okay, you're starting to really get in the heat of entrepreneurialism at this time period in your life.
I think
For me, as your son, I would notice that that's a reoccurring theme within our family, at least. So, yeah, what is it?
Well, I think your nonnu, my dad, he was forced into being an entrepreneur. I think, not forced, but he saw opportunity where he's being an entrepreneur. Working by the hour, it's difficult to. It was. I mean, I'm not sure now, but I mean, it was difficult to, raise a family, buy a house, for him, go to Italy, visit, do this. So where he spotted the opportunity was saying, hey, if I can take the finishing out of the placing and finishing and do that part of the work and have my own company, and I'll charge you piecework. So he spotted that. And then, when you're doing big concrete slabs and then all of a sudden the world stops, he had to pivot. And he started doing residential. He had soft finishing experience, so it wasn't a problem for him to do driveways. And he was probably, the guy, he was a very skilled concrete finisher. Okay. And so he recognized, what he needed to do and what he could do. So he went from doing big slabs to single family houses, because very similar to the crash in 2008, when 2009 rolled around, all the commercial construction didn't come back until the middle of 2010, where the first thing to come back is single family residential. And that's because you have consumer confidence. Once a consumer knows that they have a job, or it's not the end of the world and it's not a depression. And that was the same thing with the NEP. People, all these people lost their houses, but then all of a sudden in 1985, people realized they have a job and they can buy a house, and interest rates had come crashing back down. So the single family market was there, but the commercial market wasn't. And so that your grandfather, he spotted that and built an opportunity off that. And then from there, he knew guys who'd lost jobs as formwork guys. And so he built a niche going into, so he had some formwork, but with the concrete finishers. So when you do a service station, there's formwork and there's concrete finishing, like all those, the pads you drive your car on, those islands, the sidewalks around. So he started to do that, and McDonald's and Wendy's, and so it was watching him, and he'd always tell me numbers. I remember being 14 years old, and he would say, today we finished this many square feet, or we did this, and I was good at mental math, so he would say, okay, add these numbers up or do this, and so he was always talking to me about numbers, and as we did.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I would say you're a very good mental math person. You and Malcolm both. I have it, but I don't practice it. I don't think. Sorry, I don't have it. I'm good at math, but I don't think I have as strong of a grasp on like the mental math part. I think you are very strong at it. Malcolm's very strong at it. When did you first realize that was something that you were good at?
Probably in grade 2 or grade 3, because we had to memorize and I don't think you guys ever had to do that.
The times table.
Yeah, the times
We had
table.
to do that,
So
yeah.
I had the times table locked. But then by the time you get to grade 6 and grade 7, that didn't mean anything, because now you're into algebra and you're and problem solving, which I was middle of the road. So,
Okay.
and then I think being a sports fan at a young age, I mean, that was a big thing too. And then I like playing cards. So a lot of my hobbies and a lot of the things were interested. Math was at the backdrop. And
Yeah, I think you've always been a big sports person. What is it about sports, or what was like your first thing about sports that got you interested into it?
I really don't know. Like, I don't, no one knew like watching hockey and Stamps games. It was big, I was a big Stampeder fan, and he had season tickets when I was young, and he so I'd watch, but we didn't have a lot going on TV, which was amazing. I don't know who I was telling. So growing up, as a sports fan, the Calgary Herald would roll around at 5 p.m. So, and I wasn't a big reader, so I'd be at the box scores or whatever was going on there. And then, the CTV News, which, the Calgary local news started at 6, and you had at 20 after, you had the weather for 3 minutes, and you might get 5 minutes of sports. But somehow I could tell you, we were organizing hockey pools when we were 13, 14 years old, or 12, 13 years old.
That's
and I could
cool.
tell you, pretty much all the players. And, you lived on Hockey Night in Canada, one game. And if you're lucky, you could get the Canucks and maybe watch the first period when I was a young kid, because the game would start an hour later, and you could have the Canucks maybe on a Wednesday night. They would show a game.
Now, what year did the Calgary Flames come to Calgary? I
think it was for the 79-80 season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 70
From Atlanta.
from Atlanta.
Yeah. And then they eventually won the cup 9 years later in 89.
89.
What was that like?
Yeah.
Were you in Toronto or in
I was in
Calgary?
Toronto.
Oh, okay.
So it was fun, but it would have been great to be here. So, yeah, that was awesome.
But you would have been here for the 04 run.
Oh, here for the 04 run.
What do you remember about that?
Spending $5,000. Oh, do you want to know for the final?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we had we shared season tickets with, so the Confort shared season tickets with my father-in-law.
Okay.
And that year, Bob had always had 4 tickets, row 10 behind the Flames bench. So I think they're terrible tickets. Don't tell your grandfather. Hopefully your grandfather and your uncle. Now your uncle
Don't listen
has
to
those
it,
tickets because you miss a quarter of the ice because you're. But I mean, it was fun to watch the dynamic on the bench, and hey, so it ended up the game 6. We had what I remember that run. What I remember is Calgary was terrible. There was this I think they won the President's Cup in 99, 98 or 99, and then it was downhill, and you're losing all your players. And everybody knew we were in the world of the late 90s, early 2000s. Calgary was, were we going to be Winnipeg? Okay, we season tickets were down. They didn't have the corporates going. There was a Save the Flames campaign going on. It was a lot of things were happening. The economy started to move.
Yeah.
Desert Storm was a big help. Okay. Bad for humanity, good for the Alberta economy.
Yeah.
So and I remember, I don't know if it was, I think it was in the Canucks series, I'm waking up the kids and Patty's like, what are you doing? I said, they might never see this.
Yeah.
And that was round 1. And so it just grew.
That would have been cool.
It was really cool. And then I think round 2, a buddy of mine
Is it San Jose?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
was it round
It was either San Jose or Detroit.
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 So it was
Detroit.
Detroit. So, and in '96, a buddy of mine took me to a game in Detroit. He owed me a favor, and he said, "Do you want to go to a hockey game, or do you want me to, do you want $1,000 to go to a hockey game?" I said, "Well, let's go to a hockey game," and because I wasn't going to charge him for going to show a place that luckily sold for him, and he was good friends with Ken Holland.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and then because he grew up in Medicine Hat, he was friends with Ken Holland, Chris Osgood, and a guy named Neil Little. And even that'll challenge you, Eric. So
Yeah.
Neil Little was a career. He was he basically was a minor league goalie for the Flyers forever, because Bobby Clark never did him any favors. He wouldn't trade him, but he would never. He only played I think he played a handful of NHL games.
That's tough.
Yeah, but anyway, so
Yeah.
so it ended up that, and this was in, round 2, and I said, "What are you thinking?" He goes, "Well, it looks like Detroit. If they get through,
We're a good team.
they're going to be playing Philadelphia."
Yeah.
So we ended up, they win, and he's got lines up for Game 4. Well, that year they swept. So we're there for Game 4 the night they win the Stanley Cup. Ended up sleeping in Ken Holland's basement because Buddy is kind of like me. He's not really a good organizer.
Yeah.
So we went there. We flew it.
Yeah.
Neil Little's brother flew the plane because they had a little charter company in Medicine Hat. So Neil Little's brother and his buddy were going to watch, the Flyers.
Yeah.
And when we got there, I remember talking to Neil Little, and he's saying, "Yeah, I think I can say it now, that they're pretty much checked out."
Yeah.
And it looks like Detroit. So we were there, and you're amongst this rabid group of Detroit fans. They're crying after the game, and kind of felt like a third wheel in terms of the fan experience. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a great fan experience because I wasn't a Detroit fan. I didn't hate him or didn't love him. I just wasn't one of those guys.
Yeah.
Had no idea what they were going through. In 2004, have the idea what they're going through.
Yeah.
But Wes was able to get us tickets for the Detroit series. So myself and Trevor, we would either share the tickets or split when we had them. So we had every second game. Mm-hmm. And then during the Detroit series, we could pick up tickets, and that was a miracle. They went, like, these were all unbelievable. They got by unbelievable. They made it to playoffs. Unbelievable. They got by Vancouver. Unbelievable. They got by Detroit.
Was it Vancouver we played in the first round, or was it St.
overtime?
Louis?
Was it St.
I think it was St. Louis we played in 2004.
No, I think it
In the
was.
first round.
I think it was
Take a look.
I think it was Vancouver.
I think Vancouver did the same thing to Calgary. So when Vancouver made it through in '94, I think they beat Calgary in overtime in the last game of the first round.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Double check what we
But I'm pretty sure. I think it was Vancouver, then Detroit, and then was it San Jose?
It was Calgary.
Because I remember going to that, because I think it was either Vancouver or San Jose that you took Malcolm to, and he had like a C like painted on his face, like a black C. It was almost blackface, but it was a big C, and it was. I remember being jealous because he got to stay up late because it went into third overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Marty
Vancouver
Jellman
Canucks-
scored Game 7 in overtime.
Yep. It says that right here. And then it was Detroit.
And then San Jose.
And then it was San Jose. Martin Jellman again scoring the series clinching goal. The Eliminator, his nickname. And then obviously Tampa Bay, where we won.
Yeah. So we went to that. We went to the Game 6 game.
And to the Game 6 game.
Yeah, the whole family went, and
So
So I was there, and I watched the puck go through the thing, and
that's a core memory.
that's core memory.
Yeah.
That is a core. I remember we were walking through the parking lot, and there was a guy who rigged up his truck, and it was like had the Stanley Cup in it, and then flames shot out of it. It was like the back of like this big
That's
I don't know,
really
like
cool.
F550 or something like that, or
That's cool. Yeah, I remember doing the Red Mile before the game in 06 or 04.
Or 04,
For
yeah.
Game 6.
yeah.
And
As a kid, that's crazy.
as a kid,
yeah.
it was crazy. We were going in a friend's SUV, and we were just on 17th out the entire time. And I'm like 99% sure that was the first time I was ever saw boobies. This girl was flashing out of her car on 17th Ave, and I was like, "This is wild!
Yeah.
Like, where are we?"
Yeah,
at?
yeah.
And
We got to do this more often.
and but no, I just remember looking at the Calgary Herald and checking out the score from the previous night, because some of the games went pretty late, and obviously at 8 years old and almost 9 years, I guess we would have been 9.
Yeah.
Or when did the playoffs start? April, pretty much 9.
Yeah.
And but I remember looking and being like, "Oh, here we go! Like, we're close." And then unfortunately, the
And
NHL
depression. Yeah.
rigged the series. Is my
we didn't have
official
video.
opinion.
We didn't have video review.
Yeah.
So
Or they did, but it's pretty funny watching video review back then, because it's like, oh, this is brutal.
Well,
it's like a blurry. Yeah.
The leaps and bounds technology has come in terms of sports entertainment is absolutely incredible. Like if you even look back 10 or 15 years.
Oh yeah, it's a difference.
It's there's a big difference, and the access that people have to these players and teams is incredible.
I agree.
Like I was watching I think Crave does a Montreal Canadiens show called The Rebuild. And it's like a behind the scenes access show with Montreal Canadiens, and there's Hard Knocks with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And Quarterback on Netflix, which
Quarterback,
follows
I like.
3 or 4 different quarterbacks.
Yeah. Did you end up watching that? I recommended that to you. There was Quarterback, and then what the original, like was it 24/7?
24/7.
24/7 was
That
like,
is
that was
brilliant
like
television.
that was like the OG Drive to Survive. That was like
That's another good show.
yeah.
But I'm Calgary sports. I'm in a very I want to say I'm in a very comfortable place with where they're at. I mean, we have a new arena being built, which please Lord let that get done on time.
Yeah.
And the team itself, the Calgary Flames, I feel like are going to be more competitive in the near future. Maybe not this year necessarily, but I feel like our drafting has gone really well, and it's getting players that want to stay here. That is a bit of an issue, especially with recent examples like, Americans like Matthew Tkachuk, and I understand Johnny Gaudreau leaving. Rest in peace. That was more of a family-centric issue, but I could go on a rant about this.
Well, I thought it was funny because it was the Panthers that just won
Stanley
last
Cup
year
twice in a row.
and like there's like a full line that's all previous Flames. That was like a
There's
flame.
a few.
Yeah, there's like Sam Bennett on there. There's
Matthew Tkachuk.
There's Tkachuk.
2 of their best players.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's like Flames from a couple of years ago. It's like, oh,
It doesn't feel good.
yeah,
well, I think you look at where we are now, and I think the guys are gonna want to stay in this, and it'll be, I don't know if last year was a fluke or if last year was, I'm nervous about our defense. We haven't,
I get that. I do. And there's questions about Rasmus Anderson's commitment to the team, obviously. I mean, he's saying...
I think he's committed. I don't know if the Flames are.
Well, he wants a certain number and term that I don't think the team's comfortable with, which I understand due to where they are and the position the team is in as a whole. We're kind of rebuilding, so why sign one of your I think there's more value in trading him than signing him long term.
Well,
depending on what you can get for him, obviously.
I mean, if you look at Here's Calgary last year had 3 defensemen that were if they were healthy, they were in the lineup.
Yep.
That's it. Every other defenseman spent nights off as healthy scratch, including Hanley.
Yeah.
Hanley was in the only guys who started, if they were healthy, were Ball, Anderson,
And Uyghur.
and Uyghur. All we've added is
We signed Ball to a long contract.
we added that kid, the kid who played the last 2 games,
Zane Perek.
who looks great,
He's brilliant, yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're basing that, and now you're thinking. Now the early talk was, do you move Anderson? Try and put him together with some prospects for a Marner. Do you move Anderson for this? Do you move Anderson for whatever? Do you dump his contract? Calgary needs 5 defensemen that aren't going to be healthy scratch
Yeah.
if they want to make the playoffs. That's what I think.
I think
they almost
that's
made it there with that.
a pretty
ranked
solid
10.
philosophy, especially in terms of like I don't see how Calgary, without a good decor, I don't really know how we're gonna be able to progress to a playoff spot. I mean, we were 1 point out, which isn't. I want to say a lot of it is due to like grit and determination, but a lot of it is probably a bit of luck too.
But if you look, we were 5 points behind the Oilers.
Yep, that's.
But we were 5 points ahead of 11th place also.
Which is what a wild spot to be in, especially when draft implications are involved or a playoff spot. It's just wild.
But I could tell you as a Flames fan last year, and you're a deep rooted Flames fan. I don't remember any year, including 04, any of this, being so engaged in the last month of the regular season
Than last year. I feel like the team,
like you had that playoff feeling in your gut every game starting a month out, and you're like, what's going on? This is regular season. So
and which is, I think, it's a tough spot for the team to be in, but as a fan, it's super engaging. So I do really appreciate the work that the team has put into like where they're trying to get to, which is obviously is a Stanley Cup, but I think they're a bit of a team of misfits right now, because our best player
might be Mackenzie Weegar.
I think it's Mackenzie Weegar, and which is hard to say when you even have to pause though.
Well,
I do think it is Weegar for sure. McCaudry had a great season last year. Huberdeau had a bit of resurgence.
Caudry is like a Bennett.
He's a dog.
We haven't seen the best of him because he hasn't been in the playoffs.
Yep.
The best of Caudry,
when he played with Colorado in 2022?
And when he's a guy who hates to lose. And, Bennett is regular season 50-point guy, 60-point guy.
Yep.
But come playoffs, even his 2 playoff series with Calgary, you could tell, I was so sad to see that guy leave.
It was tough. And, what... I'm trying to remember what year... Oh, wait, you might have to let Raiden back in. Sorry about that, Marco.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Gives us a bit of a stretch time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you guys off. What were you guys talking about?
We were
Still on hockey.
Yeah. I do think, though, that the Zane Perek kid is... I am very high on him. I don't know if you're super familiar with this story, but for viewers and anyone who doesn't know, I'll tell it quickly. He played with the Saginaw Spirit, but before that, he graduated high school at 15 years old. Started taking university-level courses at 15, I think through the University of Toronto. His parents his mom is South Korean, and his dad's Indian. And both of his grandparents, both sets were immigrated to Canada. And it's quite a really remarkable story. They did a little thing on Sportsnet about it, but he is the only player to tie Bobby Orr's record for consecutive points in the OHL. Cool. I think that's a pretty prestigious company to be with.
Yeah.
And the kid is a absolute gamer. He puts up big plays in big moments, and he's a right-handed defenseman, which is super rare. Not super rare, but for every right-handed player, I think for forwards, there's 2 lefties for every 1 righty.
It is pretty much 2/3, 1/3.
Yeah.
Shoots right versus shoots left.
Yeah, and as a defenseman, it's even tougher
That's-
to come by. So I think he's gonna be. He'll be on the team this year. I'm excited to watch him play. Got my season tickets again, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Calgary sports. So yeah, it's good. That 04 run was really cool. It's cool that, like my most, being almost 30 years old, I think the most memorable thing I have is Johnny Gaudreau scoring against Dallas 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now.
That was sick.
Almost. But and then what sports did you play growing up?
Everything.
Yeah?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I would think basketball. I did enjoy playing. I think basketball was great. I actually like playing hockey. Like I quit playing organized hockey like when I was 12 or 13, and then got back into it playing senior men's. And I love playing hockey. Love playing outside.
Is that
Shinny.
is that when you broke your leg? Was turning
No,
senior
it was
men's?
it was outside playing shinny hockey at an
really?
outdoor rink, and then football. Never really liked it in high school, and then I played again senior men's tackle football. As one guy said, he can't believe I would do that if I wasn't getting paid an X stamps.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it was a lot of, and then I understood the game a little more at that point. Really liked it, and baseball. I only played 1 year of organized baseball, and then these guys got me back into it because And then playing as an adult, I loved playing baseball.
It's a great game.
Yeah, and racket sports. We just pretty much played volleyball, played, badminton in school. Like we played anything to get out of schoolwork was. Sports was way better.
I feel like it's a good way to experience activity as well, playing multiple sports versus there are certain hockey parents that grind their kids. It's like what the hell are you doing? And you yell at it like a 7-year-old kid didn't score a goal in his hockey game. It's wild.
Well, the other thing is, Raiden, when his level of baseball, the guys he was playing with were playing baseball 12 months a year, and a lot of them didn't have a chance to play other sports.
Yeah.
Like for us, it was okay. September rolls around, you're either playing volleyball or football, then you're going into basketball, and then some guys were wrestling, and then after basketball there was soccer, school soccer, or there was guys playing club and different levels of soccer, but school had a soccer team, and then there was track. So we played lacrosse 2 or 3 years. It was just we were always doing something.
Yeah. And what was your favorite sport that you played growing up, Raiden?
I like and still to this day, I like anything where there's competition involved.
Yeah.
But probably basketball I like the most.
Yeah.
But I really like baseball. But even a volleyball, in high school was super fun because they'd be
Volleyball was
competitive, right?
anything
competitive, anything where you're playing another team where it's relatively close.
I think we
Or even
won.
if they're better. I like playing against guys who are better.
Equal or better.
Equal or way better, because then you play up.
And it builds your skill as well.
Yeah.
I think we won our championship volleyball in grade 12. Or was it grade 11? Because we won one of them.
It was either, because I wasn't there for grade 11, so
Right.
it was either grade 10 or grade 12. I know we did win.
I think it was grade 12, and the reason I know that is because I didn't play a single minute in volleyball. I was doing the lines, and everyone was celebrating, and I was just standing there with a flag,
Yeah.
go team.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Did you play team handball by chance?
I did.
Handball was fun, too.
I was actually very good at handball.
Yeah.
I figured.
Handball was hella fun. I like handball.
Was fun.
I thought he'd be the best handball player.
Yeah, well, Raiden was good at handball.
I loved handball so much because it's like so super physical, and then like at least in the game that we were playing, like you could kind of bully the kids that were playing it because they would like play it kind of like like they were taught how to play handball. It was maybe not like the guys who were playing the other sports.
No, yeah,
but they were playing handball.
And
then I would just like that would be so fun. And then you basically just like bounce or you get the pass, and then you just like run as fast as you can into these guys. But you're also like pretty much like body checking people going through. And it's like playing. It's like an extreme game of Red Rover.
Yeah. Seriously, I think my favorite part of that game is interceptions.
Oh yeah.
When you pick off a pass.
Yeah.
And then it's you and the goalie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a super. I really liked that. You played that too, right?
Well, we just played in gym. It was never organized. It was never a school sport, like part of the.
Okay.
So I was envious because I really liked the game, but then I don't know if Raiden remembers this, but you guys were playing. I believe I was dropping him off. Never came in and watched a game because I was dropping him off, and I said to him, "Just aim for the goalie, and you'll be fine." Because Raiden had in baseball this cannon of an arm, but he was a little wild.
Yeah.
So I figured if he aimed for the goalie,
that is hilarious.
He didn't find too much humor in my my comment.
I don't think I like that one. Yeah. It's like a Caddyshack, where he lines up for the tee backwards. Goes that way. Yeah, that was pretty much me pitching. Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of running out of time here, but so maybe what we'll do is we'll ask a couple more questions. We'll go back to the timeline, and then we'll have a follow-up to get from... Because basically we've gone from 0 to...
2000.
Yeah, around...
Or you can go to 04 if you want.
Around like 30... What is that, 35, 40?
Well, in 2006, I think I turned...
40. Yeah, it would have been 40.
Yeah, because I had you 29, And Quentin rolled around in 04.
Yeah.
So your mom was pregnant at the game 6.
Wild.
Mm-hmm. So Quentin was there.
Yeah, he was.
The whole family, yeah. All right. Okay, so maybe we'll wrap it there.
Yeah. It's a good time, the timeline to pause.
Marco, it was nice meeting you, and thanks for...
nice meeting you too.
Thanks for coming.
Nice seeing you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in today, and to the viewer, we'll get Marco on to tell us the rest of his life story at a different time here.
Talking about growing up in Calgary. We jumped out to Springbank in '96. So
Calgary, surrounding area.
Calgary and Calgary adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Ciao.